Just in case you missed our last Life with the Polites, MRL, Marriage, Relationship, and Love episode, check out what you missed.
I think the road you went down is a very realistic road, not individually, but together, that all relationships face. But you just mentioned something that's very crucial, I believe, in healthy partnership and relationship. You mentioned finding you. Finding you. That is huge, because everyone has to find themselves for them to do a couple of things. You have to find you to sacrifice for somebody. You have to find you to be crushed for somebody. You have to find you to be pruned for somebody. You got to find you to know how you have grown and matured for somebody. Finding you is huge, because what you've done, you've taken an analogy of yourself and you've moved.
That's the word.
You've taken an analogy of yourself and you have moved.
That's the word.
You have personally taken action towards something. Finding you. And I thought when you said that was huge, simply because as we promote and we graduate and we mature, that is what we're manifesting. So let's just rewind some of the things that you've said. During this season, all of what you endured forced you to find you. Forced you to find you. The unwillingness to support, the rejection, the ill feelings, things of that nature that was trying to subtract as you were trying to promote. It's huge that we get to this point in all of our relationships, but that's real. That's real, because finding you is so crucial to our development of who we are to become. Think of it this way. When God speaks to us, He doesn't speak to us as we are right now. He speaks to the finished product. He speaks to the finished product, the person to whom you are to become. It's our job to find ourselves, find that journey, embrace that journey, and to become that person that God is speaking to. So finding you is huge. And what we're faced with after we've embraced who we are, here's the struggle. Now you have to fight off people that don't want you to maintain who you are.
Exactly.
You have to then fight off those that want to restrict your growth, your maturity, of sustaining who you are. That comes full force when you recognize what God has poured into you. And as you said, as the Lord said, it's time for you to stand and open your mouth. A lot of the times we're put in positions to where people don't like to hear truth, or the aggressive truth that Christ teaches. We all read the word about Christ, but you have to really get into the word to understand a lot of what He said was very aggressive. It wasn't high, it wasn't low, it was to the point. That's why God used stories to paint the picture of what you're not missing, of what you're missing, and what you weren't getting. He aggressively told stories to put into place the reality of what He was speaking. So what do we have to do when we are faced in this manner? Not tell stories, but we have to identify who we are. We have to be willing to come full circle on who we are and what God has poured in us, and take a stand for those things and what we are becoming. The maturity level, the growth, the development, the whole 9 yards.